Thank you for watching the TDC Hot Rods YouTube channel. So, hopefully today is the day that I've been waiting for a long time. Today, I'm hoping that we get to fire this thing up for the first time, see how it sounds. Super excited, lots of different kind of emotions going on, a little nervous about some stuff, super excited about everything else. Everything on the car is untested, so I don't know if anything holds pressure. I don't know anything about any of it. So tonight is going to be a very exciting night. So the only thing that has to be done to be able to fire it up is I got to pull the charge pipe off, pull the carb hat off. I'm going to pull the distributor out, fill it full of oil, and then prime the whole oil system. I'm going to pull both the drains off the turbos at the oil pan and make sure that there's getting oil through the pan, through the turbos, because that's my biggest thing is I want to make sure that the turbos have oil in them before I fire them up, before I fire the engine up. I know the engine runs, so not really worried about that, but there's a lot of other new stuff attached to it that I don't know much about. So I'm gonna prime the oil system, slap the distributor back in, got to put fuel in it and prime up the fuel system. That's a whole other thing that I'm a little bit nervous about, but excited. Cap off a couple vacuum lines just for right now, just for firing it up. But yeah. So not very much at all, just a couple things to do, but I'm gonna get started. Take you guys along for the ride. next? Let's take it apart one more time. And we're gonna check it.
Check it.
Yeah.
I need to check it out. I need to check on the oil. Oil. I just need to check on the oil. I need to.
You want to check the oil?
Yeah.
Okay, you can check it.
Oh no. Really? Whoa. That's it. That's it. I picked for the knee. That's it. That's it.
So I recorded some of this and time lapsed some of it and just did regular recording on some, but it's been a disaster so far. I can't say too big of a disaster, but I went and I got some gas, put in the tank. I've never tested the fuel system before. So I pour gas in the fuel cell, and the first thing that happens is this line here goes to this filter, and you can see where I haven't screwed that in all the way, but because I put some more Teflon on there, there's an O-ring in right there that's supposed to seal up against the housing. Well, it didn't seal off. So very first thing right away, it's leaking on this end, on both ends. It's pissing fuel out on both ends. So I was like, all right, well, that's fine. It's not too bad. It was bad. It was definitely bad, but not too bad. So I threw a catch can underneath it, and I decided to turn the pump on and let's test the rest of the fuel system. Well, yeah, that didn't work out very good either. So, let's see if I can see this. See if I can even remember what all I did. So the first thing I did is I turned it on. I look at the gauge to see what kind of fuel pressure I have, because I don't want to push it past what the floats can actually hold. And it's at like 18 pounds. I'm like, oh, whoa. So I back it off, come over, and it's just shooting fuel out the annulators, out the boosters, not the annulators, out the boosters and the primaries and the carb. I'm like, oh shoot, that's a problem. So I pull the bowl off. The bowl, and long story short, the bowl come off like 7 times between fixing the accelerator pump. There was some junk stuck, and I just rebuilt this, but there must have been something in the line, but it got stuck in the needle and seat and hung the needle and seat open, so it was just puking fuel everywhere. This fitting here was leaking. This one here was leaking. The accelerator pump on the secondary side back here was leaking, but not till after. Anyways, so yeah, I'm smiling because I finally ate some food. It was like 2.5 hours of messing with it, between fuel leaks, oil leaks, battery being dead, trying to jump start it. Anyways, it was a mess. But I'm pretty sure I got all those fuel leaks fixed. I just ran out of Teflon tape, so I have some other thread sealer that's a paste style, so I'm gonna try it. I don't know if it will hold up to the gas, but I'm gonna put it on there and try it and see what happens. But I was playing with the distributor and timing, and I have a video of this somewhere. Oh, and then to add to the top of that, I'm putting oil in here, not paying attention. I was watching my son. My son was over here playing around. And if you can see how shiny this is, because this whole baby, the whole valve cover and down into the valley, got like a quart of oil. It's great. I guess the outside of the engine needs lubrication too. And then, so I'm messing with timing. It almost fires. It sputters pretty good, turns over decent. and I kind of get excited, so I come out to turn the distributor a little bit because I'm just doing this by myself, and I decided to look under the car, and you guys can see that spot there. That was all oil, and a lot of it. Well, let me grab my flashlight. Okay, maybe not. Totally forgot this engine had an oil cooler on it, and I took the oil cooler off, and I never plugged the holes. So you can see right there and right there are two oil cooler ports that, yeah, they need to be plugged off because I kind of forgot to plug them. And for any of you that are wondering, yes, I am putting a new oil filter on it. But that's where I'm at now, is trying to fix fuel leak, and then I'll plug those ports, and then we're gonna play with timing a tiny bit more and see if this baby will light off. Sure hope it will, because I'm ready to hear it run. Anyways, time to get back to work. So, there was the first fire, but I shut it off so quickly for a couple reasons. Because I couldn't really prime the oil system very good, so I have my turbo drains ran down here into a bucket. So I'm trying to make sure that, that there's oil to it before I get to really letting it run for very long. So there's no oil there yet. So let's go try it again. Hey, we got oil. Woo! Well, that sounded like she was running on just a couple cylinders there. So I'm gonna pull out the timing light and double check a few things, and then we'll get back to it. Well, guys, I'm surprised that even fired up. I pulled out a timing light because I was like, that's weird. It's popping back through the intake. It was at 12 degrees after top dead center. I'm really shocked that it even fired up. So I'm gonna pull the distributor out, move the rotor back one gear, one tooth, and we'll see what happens. All right, guys. So I tried to fire it up again, and I just can't seem to get the timing right. Like, no matter what I did with it, I couldn't seem to figure it out. So I decided to pull the cap off and take a look at the rotor. The rotor's used because I was just gonna fire it up on it and then go ahead and put a new one on once I know that everything's kind of working. Well, I don't know how I didn't notice this before, but it's kind of messed up. So, you see this prong here, how it's pointed straight up? It's supposed to be, let's see. It's supposed to come up and go straight out. So, if we look inside the rotor, and inside the cap, oh, you can't see that. Anyways, it's trying to jump spark about that far when it's supposed to be about that far. So we're talking like 3/4 of an inch. So when it was running before, it was jumping spark 3/4 of an inch, trying to fire up. So I'm gonna go ahead and bend that tab down, pray it doesn't break, because I would really like to hear this thing run decent tonight. put it back together and see what happens. So, um, just because this is my luck and this is how my personal stuff goes. Some customer stuff, not all, but some customer stuff, it's like slides right in better than you could ever even imagine. So I got it bent back, so that's how it's supposed to look. But see this little black guy right here? It's supposed to go right there. And that holds this piece in. See how that falls out? Well, it just broke. So I'm gonna take some handy dandy super glue and try to glue this baby back on, and then we'll see what happens. Hopefully we'll be firing it back up. All right, let's see what happens. So guys, I can't even make this up, like, even if I tried. So this time, I go to try to start it. The starter makes all sorts of grinding noises. Well, I shouldn't have touched it because now I can't really prove it to you guys. But I bought 2 starters, one for this and one for that 36 Ford project I'm working on because it has a Chevy motor in it. So I happen to have 2 of them. This is the one off the car. You can clearly see it's been bolted up. This one's brand new, never had anything on it. Well, the Bendix gear was stuck out and bound up. So I pulled it off and I pushed it back in. Well, now it seems like it might be working decent, but so I can't prove to you that it was stuck out. But this one's getting put back on it. We'll see what's up with this one. Luckily it has a 1-year warranty, so we can do something with it. But yeah, can't even make up all the little issues that I'm having with this thing. But that's all right. It'll all work out good. So we're gonna throw a starter in it, and then we'll see what happens for like the 15th time. Okay, guys. So it's been about a year since I pulled this engine apart, and yeah. So it's really embarrassing to even say this, but I'm gonna say it. If you guys look, you see how all the rockers are so all over the place. Well, yeah, when I put the valve springs in, so to go back, I've been fighting with this thing for a couple hours now, like all sorts of stuff, and finally it fired up. It fired up that couple times. I've changed ignition stuff. I've messed with the starter a whole bunch because the starters are crap. There's some cheapo Chinese starters. I looked at them and they're some junk starters. But we'll worry about that later. So I fire it up and it's popping back through the intake, and I touch the cylinders and there's only like 3 of them that are firing. So I'm like, what the crap? I pull the valve covers off, and as soon as I pull them off, I realized I'm an idiot. I forgot to set valve lash, and as soon as I seen it, I remembered, oh yeah, I didn't ever adjust the valves on this thing. So that's what I'm gonna do now. It's super late, so if it doesn't go pretty smooth, then I'm not gonna get it running very good tonight, which sucks. But yeah, anyways, I'm gonna get to work because I'd really love to be able to play with this thing tonight, so we'll see what happens. All right, guys. Well, it's way past my bedtime. I am way too tired to try to figure out what is going on with this thing. So after the valve tightening up the rocker arms to adjust the valve situation, then I realized that I might have to get different length push rods. I'm not really sure. So I am going to go to bed and sleep on it and get up in the morning, and maybe I'll have maybe while I was asleep the car will fix itself. I don't know. We'll see. Um, anyways, thank you guys for watching. Sorry that it didn't work out. It didn't get running. This thing sure did kick my butt. Um, but I'm gonna figure it out, and we're gonna get her running. Anyhow, you guys have a good night, and I'll see you later.